Hi, I'm Stephen McGarry, Senior Business Development Officer at WorkWest Enterprise Agency.
Hi, my name is Michelle Dolan. I'm a design thinker in residence at WorkWest Enterprise Agency.
Flowlens has been a really worthwhile investment for WorkWest in terms of it was a real challenge that we had as an organisation to identify the progress that a client makes throughout a range of programs that we would have. So that's been a really great point for us to be able to identify and track client progress across a range of programs and also across individual programs as distinct teams that we have within the organisation. That transfer and has been as seamless as possible for clients as they go through different stages has been really important for us. From a basic point of view, from a simple database of contacts has been really important for us to identify that and to have a very clear picture about the number of client companies, stakeholders and other key individuals and organisations that we work with. To have that comprehensively in a single place has been quite important as an alternative to a range of different spreadsheets being held and stored in different places has been really important for us.
I would say the benefits of Flowlens are definitely it creates more cohesion and communication within a group, be it large or small, but I know in our small group it's definitely working well, especially some people work remotely, some people are off-site a lot at meetings, some people are intensively on-site, so it's definitely a tool that helps us to actually work in the ways that we need to work to make the organisation do what it needs to do.
The activity log and being able to track interactions on the Flowlens system has been really helpful for us. As an organisation that works with a vast number of clients on any given time, being able to track the activity per client, per different programme has been really helpful to identify progress across a period of time, but most importantly identify how our own time is spent to ensure that it's being spent effectively. And when it comes to making returns internally, reporting information internally to funders or to contractors that we're engaged with, has been really helpful. So my own time at the end of the month, it saved me 3/4 of the time that I would normally spend on admin. The Flowlens task feature has been great as an individual tool from my own point of view to remind me of tasks. So, perfect example this morning, I'd visit a client and come back with 3 or 4 distinct tasks that I've agreed for myself and for the client to complete. That's sent in an email that's tracked in the system as well, but also I can identify and assign tasks that need to be completed by a certain time, which is great. So get a reminder every morning of what my daily tasks are. It's also really helpful to assign tasks to other members of staff, and they can do the same to other individuals across the team, so that again, as an alternative to email where things can get lost in email trails and so on, assigning a clear distinct task to be completed by a clear distinct time is really helpful.
The Flowlens program makes a big difference to my day. I'm quite a visual person. I write a lot. I have a lot of notebooks, but I found since Flowlens, because I can contain everything in one place and that's accessible by all my colleagues, it helps them help me and vice versa. So it's great to have one central point where I can check the whole email history of interactions with a client to date. So without having to interrupt anyone else, I can literally get up to speed on something in about 5 minutes. And then if I have any further questions, I pick up the phone. So I'm not starting off asking a million questions. I have a good base of information or knowledge before I actually have to pick up the phone, and I really like that because I prefer to be armoured with the information before I'm calling someone, be it a client or a colleague.
Flowlens has been really helpful for us in terms of communications and teamwork internally. We're a small team, but work across a range of different services. So it's been really important for us to provide a seamless service to our clients, so that when an organisation or a client is involved in a programme where different members of staff have touch points with them, it's been really helpful to ensure that there's clear communication so we understand where our client is at any given time, to ensure what level of communication has been had, what the latest communication has been as well, so that we can track that and make sure that we provide the most effective service to the client as humanly possible, to make sure that the time is spent really effectively and efficiently. Just so easy and it's a seamless process for the client themselves, but also internally it reduces the amount of back and forth that's required.
So I would use the Flowlens interactions heavily on a daily basis. I find it really keeps me abreast of where I am at with my clients, what I have actually uploaded, what I need to do, and really keeps me on track, and it's something that I utilise all the time actually in my daily work.
We found across the team the system very intuitive, quite easy to use, and whilst we'd benefited from some training from the organisation, from Flowlens, the best thing we found was to use it, was to try it and start adding content and start adding interactions and testing the reporting system to make sure that we were getting the most out of it. And we found that really relatively easy across the team with a broad range of IT skills across the team. So that was really helpful. We identified new areas that we hadn't intended to use the system for, such as being able to track sales and prospects, but also how effectively then we were able to share information was the most useful. Because of the range of activities and the range of services we offer, it's quite disparate, and we were able to find that there was a fairly simple solution within the software that allowed us to track that effectively.
It's quite an easy platform to operate, but it's just more practice and figuring out what I can do, and oh, that leads to that, and oh, I can actually check that. But we've had a few staff meetings where we've exchanged different bits of information about the programme. That's worked really well, and I think that's helped us all a lot, actually.
We also found, though, that if we had a query, very easily accessible to engage with the organisation. One of the key points for us in using Flowlens was being a local Northern Ireland-based organisation. As an organisation ourselves, as a social enterprise, we try to buy social and buy local wherever possible. So that was a really key point for us, that to have an individual, a voice, a person that we could contact, and using the ticketing system for any queries we have, we found to be very easy and very responsive to our needs. But because of the intuitive nature of the system, we've been able to find solutions ourselves as well without having to go down that help route. In terms of the training support that we received from Flowlens, it was very helpful in terms of being able to see the system live for us as an organisation. But what was really a nice touch that we found was that Flowlens worked with us to set it up on our phones as well, so we could log new inquiries if we were ever out at an event or meeting with new clients, that it made it so much easier then to identify and log those clients onto the system, so they're immediately on to the database that we have, so that I can also then track interactions and log interactions as I go, which is really important for us being quite remote and out on client site quite a lot. Flowlens worked with us to establish our requirements from the outset, and took time to understand the distinct nature of our business, along the different facets, how we engage with clients, the level of reporting that was required. Took the time to really ensure that the system could fit what we needed, and to provide us with the support that was needed then to tailor what we needed to use the system for.
For anyone thinking about Flowlens, what worked really well in our scenario was having a designated go-between from our staff team and the Flowlens team. That worked really well because I did have a lot of questions in the beginning, and I still do, and I'm still figuring it out, but the more I practice, the easier it gets. But there was a lot of things that maybe I wasn't aware could be created, or things that could actually be altered or added in, which we really needed, and Stephen was a great go-to point for that. He was like, oh, maybe I can ask if it would be possible to get this tab changed into this instead, and we can change a drop down. So it was really constructed and adapted to meet our needs and to meet the needs of WorkWest in particular, but having that focal point definitely aided that transition of a new system within the organisation. I would say also that I think the customer service is a big part of it. There was always a response. Whenever we brought anything to Stephen, there was always a response from the team at Flowlens. So obviously the focus on customer service also helps roll this out effectively.
I suppose any advice I would give to anybody would be to be very clear about what they want the system to do for them, what the benefits are going to be to them as an organisation, and then to take the time where possible to engage with the organisation, the software provider, to ensure that those needs are met. And we found working with Flowlens allowed us to do that.